Well, there's a lot more to the Quad Cities than what you see on the surface. Last November, Local 4 News took you to underground Rock Island and its hidden history of prohibition, tunnels, gambling, and prostitution. Those underground stories just skim the surface, though. Across the river in Davenport, you can discover the ghosts of speakeasies past if you know where to look. Downtown Davenport, above ground, the sounds of development. But the deeper you go, the only sound is silence. President of Big Dog Construction, Sean Larson.
I didn't really sense the level of speakeasies from the prohibition that we would have.
His company specializes in remodeling old buildings, but along the way he's been forced to become something of a history expert.
Now this building in particular was built in 1916.
Inside the old United Cigar building on Main Street, we start with a trip down the stairs.
You could envision the people being in the basement having their drink.
As you travel through endless halls, it's hard to grasp where you are, but our first speakeasy sits roughly below me and Billy downtown. For Sean, there's always a dead giveaway.
You'll find what appears to be a trap door. Now here we're lucky enough to still have the stairway intact.
That trap door, blocked, cemented over decades ago, but the century-old communication system remains to this day.
This right here is how they would have communicated, okay? There's a series of switches here that would have went to some lighting directly above us that would have been below a counter.
Larson's construction experience mixes with his knowledge of the history. He easily dates when certain walls were added to hide the speakeasies.
We'll find false walls.
I'm literally walking on top of these speakeasies in Davenport right now, but if you're looking for some sort of documentation or historical proof of that era, all you have to do is look across the street. Inside the Main Street branch of the Davenport Library, we fittingly head underground to the Special Collection Center. That's where we meet Special Collections Supervisor Jessica Mirasol.
These are a bunch of different photographs from our collection.
Photos and newspaper clippings from Prohibition show how speakeasies honeycombed these streets.
Yeah, there were quite a few speakeasies actually.
Those local papers support that story. 2,000 gallons seized, record crime increases, busy year for Prohibition officer. The headlines go on. Those crimes still live today in black and white.
The next person down, intoxication.
Still on file, the original police blotters from the 20s and 30s.
I think it's interesting that there's a lot of intoxication, obviously, through Prohibition.
It's a theme that's no surprise to Sean Larson as he continues to find old speakeasy upon speakeasy.
The Davenport Hotel, it was built in 1907.
Another building on Main Street. More remnants of a past era.
And again, we go to the catacombs, as I say.
And more false walls and original architecture.
Actually got chills. I mean, you could just feel the history.
Moving even further down the street.
Catacomb number 3.
Yet another.
We're the ones that made these penetrations for the mechanicals. This was a solid block wall. This room was the speakeasy. Right here is where the private stairway was. They actually finished the floor in here with mosaic tile, and we have found evidence of this identical tile on other floors that we've renovated.
Sean and Big Dog Construction has stumbled across speakeasies since the early 90s, and even when the job is to build something new, it makes them stop and think about the old.
We see history, we acknowledge history. The main basis of history is so we don't repeat the wrong things.
But they'll repeatedly find these underground speakeasies as long as there's an old building to be restored and history to be uncovered.